What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans Lights Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods, my friends. MLB, we got the Christopher Morel home run there, got into those later 8th, 9th innings, and boom, he gets one going there. I was sweating out some NBA, watching some of that as well. We got NBA Lindy's going on as well. 3 games coming your way on Tuesday, but you're here for 16 MLB games. I got a lot to break down for you. We got a doubleheader right off the bat, 2 leans in that one. But then we continue on our merry way. Tons of plays on the card, no locks. There's a couple of numbers where I'm like, you could push it, specifically up against you-know-who. If you don't know, you'll know soon. Anyway, BetMGM, we'll talk about it. Odd Chopper, we'll talk about it. Great opportunity to go down into the link below. Great stuff, as always, in the video description box. Always check that out every day. But producer Jacob, hi, hello. Too many baseball games for me to talk too much here on the front end. Let's get to the picks. We begin our tour with Kyle Gibson, Jack Flaherty here, and it's a doubleheader. So we're going to start game 1, game 2. I say this a lot because it really, really matters, but you want to be watching the news. You want to see the lineups that roll out for these first 2 starters. And we got 2 righties on the mound, kind of makes it easy to analyze. And then we get a lefty on the St. Louis side, which also makes it a little bit easier to analyze. Because if there's glaring omissions, say Mark Canha isn't in the lineup, things of that nature, it is baseball. We're talking 162 game sample size, and then you're condensing them down into like 2 specific games on the same day on April 30th. Don't go crazy with your bankroll, but try to react to what those starting lineups look like. I'll be in the premium Discord in the morning because, again, there's only the one afternoon game here, 3:40 Eastern time, 12:40 Pacific. That is St. Louis, Detroit, game 1, Kyle Gibson, Jack Flaherty. And Flaherty, way better here outside of St. Louis. So a little bit of a revenge spot for him. 29% K rate, 35.8% hard hit. The whiff percentage is really what stands out to me. 35% whiff percentage amongst all of his pitches. Has that knuckle curve moving pretty darn well. It's something that he's added to the repertoire, back in 2017. It's been forever now here at this point in time, but 19.2% usage. This is about the most that we've seen that specific pitch in years. The last 2 years, the largest sample size we have of it, right around 19-20% usage. But the slider usage is what's really, really up. And I really wanted to break into this pitch just to see what's going on because he's smashing with it. It had a 326 expected batting average last season, threw it 25% of the time. So far this season, sitting at a 181 expected batting average, throwing it 35% of the time. Hey, how about that? A little bit of a deep dive. That being said, my model is saying leaning towards the over here. I'm not going to be playing it. So again, this is something if you really, really want it, we would be attacking Kyle Gibson. Might actually look at packaging it with Detroit if you wanted to be playing that over because I'd really be looking at them to do a lot of that heavy damage. But you could maybe just go to the team totals and go find a 4, 4.5 or something of that nature. Again, it's an 8, so 3.5 going to be pretty heavily juiced there as the favorite in this spot. But definitely Kyle Gibson more attackable than Jack Flaherty. That shouldn't be surprising listening to me. But game 2, I think because you switch it over to Steven Matz and we don't know the Detroit side of it, I think it's an intriguing spot to potentially fire up Detroit money line. They've been the better team. And as you look at them against lefties, I think they're, they are an 89 WRC plus, 24.5% K rate, but they're not going to get a lot of swing and miss here from Steven Matz, sitting there with just a repertoire that I'm not a fan of. I've never been a Steven Matz stan. 14.7% K rate, 300 expected batting average. Going to be paying attention to which righties show up against Kyle Gibson and then try to react and get the Detroit money line if that line is advantageous. I also got to figure out who's going to be pitching for St. Louis. Kind of an important part of the equation, but both of those going to be leans. Next games we go. Oh, Nestor Cortez, Dean Kramer. Oh boy. Well, we'll break this one down here a little bit. I actually want to do a little bit of a check-in here on the people because this was a game that I didn't know what to do with because I kind of liked both pitchers. Of course, it goes way under in 90-degree weather. 2-0 Baltimore in that spot. Glad that I stayed away from that because my inclination would have been towards the over. And obviously, the modeling liked the weather because it hasn't seen this kind of weather since 1994, it feels like. Starting to warm up in some spots. And now it's going to get a little bit cooler up here in the streets. Pretty darn wild. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Nestor Cortez, Dean Kramer. Great stuff, friends. We're going to be paying very close attention to the pitching matchups in this one, mainly because, well, I don't think there's a lot to mine out on the New York side. They are the favorites, which is always surprising, but they've had the better record on the season, 19-11, 18-10 for Baltimore. It's a pretty even strength matchup, and obviously I'm not going to go out of my way to flip coins in these kind of spots unless, you want to give me plus 105 on one of these sides to flip coins. That would be fun. More than happy to flip coins all day at plus 105. But anywho, Juan Soto, this is going to be the main thing because Nestor Cortez, he's been pretty locked in, 257 xWOBA, nothing that's super attackable. Should neutralize some of the lefties that have been ridiculous. Gunnar Henderson, looking at you, buddy. Holy shit. Goes yard again. Somebody asked me about that on Monday, and I was like, I'm fine without it. Should have bet it. But anyway, Dean Kramer, 562 expected slugging, 365 xWOBA, 13.6% barrel percentage. And my other thing that I have as a note here is he's getting completely pulverized by lefties over the course of his last couple of years. So, yeah, we're going to attack him with Juan Soto. How many times can I back Juan Soto in a season? Answer, probably a lot more. I've been doing it since like day one of the season. We had the Yankees as the lock. Again, locks have been floundering here in April, but again, we're going to heat up as the season goes along here. Hopefully Philly can get it done. That game is just hitting first pitch as we speak, so I'll be live sweating that a little bit in the corner. But Juan Soto, I'm putting lean like just because at this point how much I love this man, how much money he has made us, and so we should continue backing the dude with like all of the ridiculousness and like a 998 OPS. Oh my God, what a freak. Kind of a weird one. Colorado and Miami, no line, no run line, no total, but we have a pitcher from Colorado, Ryan Feltner, and I like what Ryan Feltner's been doing so far this season. I don't even know if I had an opinion about him. One of the things is like, you want to kind of rank guys and you have a model that basically you want to have opinions throughout about, how does this person look, that person look, but Zips, Steamer, The Bat, a lot of great projection sites over at Fangraphs that you can basically strip and export directly to a spreadsheet. And it's going to kind of inform decision-making on this player versus this player, this lineup versus this lineup. And then, something like Ryan Feltner, who I think there's major improvements that we're seeing from him. First off, the velocity is up half a mile per hour, 1.6 miles per hour on his off-speed pitches. Pretty noticeable difference there. The other thing is he's basically eradicated the curveball, which he went from throwing, a decent amount of back in the day, like 10-ish%, basically throwing it 3% of the time. He's had a grand total of 14 pitches, all to right-handed bats with the curveball. It continues to get completely murdered whenever he throws it. 500 batting average against, 178 expected slugging is pretty low. No, it's 842. I was going to say it was like way, way higher. So curveball has not been a good pitch. I'm glad that he's removing that from the arsenal, but he's a slider four-seamer guy, and working through his mix, I think he's going to mow down some of these Miami guys. Now, Miami against righties, they haven't struck out a ton, 22.1% K rate, but just an 83 WRC plus. And I do think there's spots like this where Feltner has some of that breaking pitch stuff that we're really looking for, specifically a primary slider here. I think if that pitch is moving here, nearly 2,500 RPMs on it, way up, it's over 100 RPMs up from 2023 to 2024. I think we're going to see more swing and miss against a team like Miami that has nothing in terms of the power metrics. So yes, 22.1% K rate, but 83 WRC plus against righties. Think he can pitch longer into this one. Give me Ryan Feltner for potentially that K ladder, which we got to the 7 Ks on Crochet. Felt good. How about up to 6 here for Feltner? That's a lean like as well. So back-to-back lean likes. That just means that, yes, I know that it's a lean here because we don't have the official number, but it's a like based on previous data. I'm going to be updating that in the premium Discord. If you ask me over on X, hey, Eric, did you bet Ryan Feltner up to 6 Ks? I'll be happy to let you know, but that's a pretty strong consideration here. If you made me pick a game, if you made me pick a number on the entire board that I wanted to lock, there is no doubt that this is the one. Now, Kansas City, Toronto, it's top 8th, 6-5 Toronto here. You had the double dong from Justin Turner, keeping that one competitive, but didn't really bother me there because it is what it is. But it would bother me a lot here on Tuesday because Cole Ragans is on the mound. You're probably on the mind. Ooh, little Freudian slip there. He's on my mind here too. Money on my mind. I'm ruining this. It's fine. Cole Ragans, 27.8% K rate, 307 xWOBA. The main thing for me is just seeing how he's doing against some of these righties. As teams start stacking up righties against him as we accumulate sample size post-Texas. We had a short stint, obviously, at the tail end of last year where he looked electric, boogie, woogie, woogie, no doubt about it, but looking pretty damn good so far. Now, only 4 strikeouts in back-to-back outings. Only 1 2/3 in that Baltimore outing. Again, pretty weird stuff. He got completely shelled against Baltimore. A lot of teams are going to get completely shelled against Baltimore. But Cole Ragans overall, this fastball, 96-97 with movement, I think he's going to be pretty effective against right-handed batters. And a 1.43 whip coming off of last season's 1.16, that isn't completely concerning to me considering he's kept the expected ERA in check. 3.67 expected ERA, 3.33 last season, about 1/3 of the sample size that we've had to this point of the year. Mixes in the changeup, cutter, curve, everything's pretty good. Knuckle curve, to be exact on what that is. So love the pitch mix. Think this is just a strong arm that you want to be backing in spots where other people might be freaked out. And Toronto, it's a freaky matchup going up north of the border, taking on a team with a 20.8% K rate against lefties. It's not the highest that you're looking at, but they're just a 93 WRC plus against. And, well, I'm burying the lead, friends. I said there was a guy at the top of the show that I always attack, and we're back to attacking Jose Barrios. 4.46 expected ERA, pretty identical to the 4.51 now. He ran like the sun last year to have a 3.65 ERA, 23.5% K rate, back to sub 20%. His numbers look a lot more similar to his 2022 numbers than his 2023 numbers. And in 2022, you know what I did? I bet against him just about every single outing because Toronto was favored in a majority of these. And, well, just give me Kansas City as the value side of things. I said, you want to let me flip coins between the pitcher I believe in, pitcher I don't, lineup that I think 1 to 5 is a lot closer to Toronto's 1 through 5 than people probably expected coming into this season. It's a little bit more, Kansas City money line. Plus 125 would have this closer to plus 105. It's kind of close to a lock consideration, but for now, caution is the better part of valor. My favorite play on the board, though, for Tuesday is this one. Great pitcher in Javier Assad going up against Sean Manaea. And Sean Manaea, I love the strikeout stuff. He generally has always been kind of a swing and miss guy. We just saw Luis Severino just pitch a gem for New York here today. How about Sean Manaea? 268 expected batting average, 355 xWOBA. Does have that 25.2% K rate I alluded to, but God, he's giving up a lot of barrels, and there is a lot of righty power. Might have to run Christopher Morel back just for, shits and giggles. But Javier Assad, friends, sub 30% hard hit, 27.5%, 203 expected batting average, 24.5% K rate. This is a dude we backed a little bit more than the average bear last season. He did a little bit of sun running himself, similar to Jose Barrios. 4.64 expected ERA, 3.05 ERA, but 2.89 expected ERA to begin out this season. And pretty decent sample size. Again, 452 pitches. It's not close to the 1,710 we had last season, but still feel pretty good about Javier Assad in one of these spots. I think you want to put a sprinkle on this one too. So we're going back-to-back dogs. We did back-to-back lean likes on Soto, Feltner, and now we're doing back-to-back likes here. Hoo-hoo-hoo! I'm feeling frisky out of way. Chicago Cubs money line. Hey Chicago, what do you say? Sign up for Odd Chopper if you win today. Sounds great. You can do that at the link below, friends. OS Premium Tools, Discord Insider Access, sub $15 for a week, and then it gets a little bit better if you use promo code Lindy. 20% off, friends. 20% off using promo code Lindy at the link below. If you want to get my premium picks every single Monday through Friday, if you want the expert picks, if you want to jump in and see Nathan Joyce's picks, if you want to see Ben Roz's picks, and again, the soccer streets, I'm excited for Tuesday. That'll be fun. Use promo code Lindy, and you can get it for a week for less than $2 a day. Less than $2 a day to get everybody's picks. If you watched to this point of the video, I'm assuming that this is your kind of thing, baby, by Austin Powers. So check it out, friends. Expert picks, Discord, premium tools, 20% off, promo code Lindy. Back to the picks we go. I have no freaking idea what to do here. Again, this is where model says to do it, and I say not to do it. Because again, this is just, I'm not smarter than data. Trust me, I'm not smarter than data. Data is going to be supreme for me. I think you know by this point in time, you've listened to me talk about baseball enough. I'm looking at hard hit data because, again, I do think pitchers don't have as much control about the direction the ball is hit as what other people might think. Now, there are ways that, yeah, there are certain pitches where you have to pull it. You have to do certain things. If they pitch away from you, you have to make adjustments. But over any long sample size, I do think that pitchers lose control of those type of things. And I'm just looking for batters that can put bat on ball. If you can get the ground ball rate to look good, like a guy like Logan Webb, though, it's going to play tricks on you like this is going to. And I don't really know what I'm looking at with Cooper Criswell, but I'm having a tough time believing that we went from a 5.16 expected ERA last season in about 2.5 times the sample size to a 3.65 this season. Now, it's been a great start to his season, but just a 14.6% K rate. And then he doesn't throw the ball over 90 miles per hour. You heard me. He is a Major League Baseball pitcher who doesn't have any velocity whatsoever. And we're going to Fenway. It plays a little bit deeper for lefty power than people think, considering pesky pole. Oh, you just loop it around that thing. Yeah, you could aim at that thing and freaking hit it around the corner. It'd be great, but you hit that thing a little bit further out towards center, and it is a cavern closer towards that bullpen. So want to be a little bit careful trying to pick on Cooper Criswell with some of these lefties. I am looking at Lamont Wade. I'm looking at Jung-Hoo Lee. I'm looking at Patrick Bailey. I'll take Bailey's. You want to drink Bailey's from a shoe? Great stuff like that. And Mike Yastrzemski, power numbers have been way down for him too. So I'm going to pay attention to see where some of these opening numbers are, but Logan Webb's really the freakish thing about this equation. I don't trust what I'm looking at with him. I think he's going to be better than a 303 expected batting average, 17% K rate, but your numbers kind of are what they are to this point. And a 4.28 expected ERA, a lot higher than the last 3 years with much larger sample size, where he's been a sub 3.65 expected ERA guy. So again, I do think we get towards that under, but I'm going to just wait, not have to bet everything. Again, you don't have to force these type of plays. We're going to have tons of prop exposure on Odd Chopper. I'm going to have tons of home run plays throughout the entire season. I mean, hundreds, literally hundreds of baseball plays, thousands of baseball plays that I have logged, tracked, accounted for. Don't force it under 8.5 if you don't feel good about it. Again, lots of opportunities to make money later down the line. Well, we'll have more positive expected value. So I'm just going to pass and move on. I know it was a lot of explanation for a lean, but I hope you appreciate that. Well, I'll be a little bit shorter with this one. Mr. Woods Richardson. Yeah, this guy came from absolute obscurity to start for my baseball team. And again, you find somebody from obscurity with your baseball team, I'll get better. But Michael Soroka, we know exactly who this guy is. But starting with Woods Richardson, Simeon Woods Richardson. He's just 23 years of age. He had 2 super quick stints, 2022, 2023, less than 100 pitches in both. Didn't go well at any points. But now they have him as a lengthened out starter. And he went 6 and 5 innings. Only 3 earned in these 11 innings to this point. I don't know what to make of it, but he has a 3.83 expected ERA. He's a pretty good guy in terms of managing walks now, maybe. I don't know. He threw some walks early on there in those first 2 years. But again, very limited sample size as is. Less than 200 pitches total in his major league career coming into this season. In his 2 starts, he's almost hit 200 pitches, 174 to be exact. So working through his mix, I'm just going to pump the brakes here. I know a lot of people want to be backing an unknown quantity at minus 170, right? I do not. I do not. Now, Michael Soroka is terrible. 411 xWOBA, 537 expected slugging. I'm sure you somewhere, some point, he's 2015, just absolute gem. He was an absolute can't miss prospect for the Atlanta Braves back in the day. But he's got some of the worst numbers in baseball thus far. So it is what it is. I know it's a White Sox Twins matchup. I'm not going to back the unknown quantity here. Maybe I'm wrong in a month, but I'm okay not embracing this kind of variance here. I'm going to be paying close attention. I do have Minnesota money line listed. That's the lean. But again, do you want to be backing them at this kind of a number? Do you want to be backing them? I surely do not. We have the pitchers. Well, we technically have one pitcher that's officially listed in this one. And then we're kind of making an assumption on the other here based on what's listed, but no numbers available. We got Tyson Alexander, Freddie Peralta going at it in this one. Fastball Freddie. Oh boy, did he make us sweat, baby. Sweat the other weekend. Was it last Thursday? But the ship was righted. Milwaukee helped us sweep all the singles on Thursday. Made me very, very happy. All of the outrights, all of the totals, and all of the money lines, and all of the land. But a little bit concerned here. Freddie Peralta, 12.3% barrel percentage. It's a little bit higher than you'd like to see for a primary fastball guy. Now, the 33.3% K rate still looks lovely. 3.89 expected ERA, though, that'd be the highest he's had since 2019. So I'm going to pump the brakes, and I'm just going to say basically Milwaukee -1.5 up against Tampa Bay here. Because on the other side of this one, assuming that it's Alexander that ends up being your pitcher, Tyler Alexander. I said Tyson before, but it doesn't matter. 9% barrel percentage. Looking through his extension, 3.78 expected ERA, much better than his 4.74 ERA. But we've seen this routinely. Milwaukee offensively bringing a lot more to the table than what you, I, or anybody was expecting. And against lefties especially, 124 WRC plus. I find these to be unsustainable numbers. I will say it again, unsustainable. 124 WRC plus to both righties and lefties for the Milwaukee Brewers. I can't do it. I can't do it looking at these lineups. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, maybe Rhys Hoskins and Gary Sanchez are going to lead the charge to a Milwaukee World Series from obscurity, but I very highly doubt it. Don't doubt that this is one of the best hitters in baseball so far. Mackenzie Gore, he's not a hitter. John Gray, he's not a hitter either. But CJ Abrams is. We'll talk about him in a second. But Mackenzie Gore, we'll start on his side of things, friends. This is a strikeout arm. This guy can definitely rack him up. Now, it's freaky going up against Texas because he's gotten some decent matchups. And this is one of the things that I think early in the MLB season I'm paying attention to a lot more, because as we progress, you're going to play more difficult baseball teams. There's no doubt about it. But early on in the season, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, which again, helps to be a lefty against Philly. I'm not going to lie. And then you've got Oakland and Houston that have been massive underperforming. That's for sure. But I look at the Dodgers, friends. That was his last outing. And that one really was telling to me. Only four strikeouts there, but 7 hits, only the 1 earned, 6 innings, his best outing of the season, bar none. Think there might be a chance that I take a small little play here going up against John Gray, but I do think that I'm going to be looking more at the CJ Abrams side of things. John Gray, 13.4% barrel percentage, 48% hard hit, 15.8 degree average launch angle. So we're looking at potential home run guys. Jesse Winker looking at you, but CJ Abrams, 535 expected slugging, 394 xWOBA. I repeat, one of the better hitters in baseball thus far. He's only 23 years old. His batting run line value and his base running run line value, ridiculous stuff, but he's a terrible fielder, and eventually he's going to have to play the outfield. It just kind of is what it is. But great bat. Let's back him here. 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. If that ends up being 2.5, maybe I'll have to reconsider. But assuming that this is the opening number and assuming it's inside of -150, it will be on the card for me tomorrow. Back-to-back quickies. That's phrasing, Eric. It's a thing. Cleveland and Houston, and Carlos Carrasco here in this one. Hunter Brown on the other side. 2 not-so-good pitchers so far. Carlos Carrasco had the really nice first outing. It wasn't going to be for long, friends. 45% hard hit, 19% K rate, 12.3% walk rate. Pain, suffering personified in for him against lefties like Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. A guy like Yanner Diaz, who for the first couple of years of his career has had reverse splits at the AAA level and then at the big league level, where he's just good on right. So projects out pretty well for the top of this order. Of course, Altuve, he's just doing Jose Altuve things, even with no power. 501 expected slugging, 372 xWOBA, doesn't strike out. We got Alex Bregman, who's been terrible to start off this season, but due for positive regression based on every April we've seen from him. Feels like forever, but Hunter Brown is a problem. 334 expected batting average, 45.3% hard hit, 334 expected batting average. Again, I'm looking through all of this. Fastball velocity down nearly 0.5 mile per hour. Just another one of those starting pitchers throw into that bucket. They've been on the struggle bus. And you give me 9 here, and I'm going to take it just about every single time, friends. Over 9, me likey, half unit, next game. Yeah, this is a pretty clean one, too. Spencer Turnbull going up against Tyler Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Now, I don't like Philly as much against lefties here, that's for sure. But still got a 104 WRC plus against them, so maybe I need to reconsider that stance because it's an identical 104 WRC plus to righties and lefties alike. So is what it is, friends. I think maybe it's just a bias towards the Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper pieces. And you got Bryson Stott playing everyday second base and things of that nature too. But Tyler Anderson, been limiting some of the hard power, 31% hard hit, but 11.5% barrel percentage, 17% K rate. Problem is incoming. No problems with Spencer Turnbull so far. 28.3% K rate, 3.18 expected ERA. Looks like a completely revamped, retooled pitcher. And it's kind of nice to run into some of these guys who are doing it with one of these velocity decreases. Yeah, you heard me. He's down 1.3 miles per hour on his fastball. But you know what? When you have the four-seamer and you're able to just locate and figure out ways to induce ground balls, you're just fine. 47.7% ground ball percentage for him. Nice to see here. That's kind of been his MO. If he gets ground balls, life is good. If he doesn't, he's in trouble. Plus, just a 182 batting average against that fastball. So the dip in velocity isn't all that concerning considering the spin is actually up on the pitch. So a couple of reasons to potentially look at Spencer Turnbull. As somebody you want to put some money behind. So I'm running it back again. Minus 142 feels very, very oddly similar. Now, it's not a lock because Griffin Canning, he's not good. Tyler Anderson, he's not good either, but not as bad. And then Christopher Sanchez, I like a little bit more than I like Turnbull, but both of them very impressive to start off 2024. Also impressive, my friends, BetMGM, first bet safety net up to $1,500. You sign up at the link below. Take advantage of books when they're giving you these kind of deals. It's just too good to be true. Again, up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. So whether you bet $50, $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $1,500 on your first bet over at BetMGM at the link below, you're going to get that back in bonus bets if it doesn't hit. So a great opportunity to take some nice big plus money shots. Again, that's kind of the math way to do it. Again, it's your money. You decide what you want to do with it. But if you're looking to sign up and get a great deal in the meantime, BetMGM definitely is a great spot for your action. Have some of the most advantageous run lines, some of the most advantageous strikeout props in the entire industry. So sign up down below. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Two pitchers I'm pretty interested here in this spot. We've got, we've got some good pitching going on in Seattle, and it's a phenomenal ballpark. Luis Castillo, he's always had a little bit of a power issue, but 39.2% hard hit percentage is pretty good. Obviously, the ballpark is incredible to be pitching out of, and a 3.32 expected ERA to start off this season. Everything is in its right place for him. Now, Atlanta is a very good offense on the other side. There's no doubt about it. And a 124 WRC plus against that, so it's a freaky one. But 22.3% K rate on the season. It's not like massive or anything, but it's definitely middle of the road in baseball. And I think Luis Castillo can go out and win this kind of a matchup. For 5.5 ends up being kind of the number that we're given right from the get-go here. I would like a little bit more than that inside of minus 120. Now for Reynaldo Lopez, I expect this K rate potentially at 26.1%. to be identical, like almost identical to that of Luis Castillo based on just adjusting it. Now, last season, 29.9% K rate, but a little bit different this season. And why is that, Eric? Well, I'll tell you. He was a reliever last season, so now a lengthened out starter. The K rates come down ever so slightly, but everything in its right place for him. 3.3% barrel percentage, 261 xWOBA. Feel pretty good about backing him too, so I think this might be like a dueling 6Ks, combine them together over on FanDuel and call it a day, yeah? Yeah. 6+ Ks for both pitchers in this one. Have fun, gentlemen. Nick Martinez, he used to pitch for San Diego. He's on the bump here. I have no idea how I'm supposed to analyze this without the San Diego start on the other side. Don't know when we're going to get this news. You can hit me up over on X whenever it shows up at Eric Lindquist. Just my name, EricLindQuist. Look at that. I can spell my own name. Nick Martinez, 16.8% K rate, 280 expected batting average. He is he basically went over to KBO for like 5 years, came back over last season. It's just kind of a meandering arm in 2023, 3.98 expected ERA. It's fine. 29.9% hard hit was really good, but it's been up this season. The walks are going to get shown up eventually. Not going to get any swing and miss against San Diego. Cincy money line, because I'm assuming whatever San Diego's rolling out isn't going to be that pretty. As long as it's not a bullpen situation, I'd take the coin flip, but pretty terrible spot to bet. And I don't know how many times one guy can show up on the card and just not perform, but here we are again. Jock Peterson, come on down. We're going to try to utilize you against Landon Knack, but then Jordan Montgomery, he's the starter southpaw, used to pitch for St. Louis back in the day. Very difficult spot here against the Dodgers, obviously. 266 expected batting average isn't great. 14% K rate. If you're not getting swing and miss against them, you know Mookie and Teoscar Hernandez and Enrique Hernandez and Andy Page has been off to a pretty decent start in his major league career as well. Another righty there. Some decent righties there. The lefties don't suck either. Max Muncy, Shohei Ohtani, freaking Freddie Freeman. Are you kidding me? This team is just ridiculous every time I see him on paper. But Jock Peterson, his former team, the Dodgers, he gets to go up against Nick Knack, Patty Whack, give me a mango. I don't know. What's the saying? Nick Knack, Patty Whack. I like combine that with telling me banana. They like come one. I have problems, friends. Landon Knack is not good. 50% hard hit, 20-degree launch. Jock Peterson, it's like square peg, square hole. We just bet it. You're just going to bet anything better than plus 380 on Jock Peterson. There you go. Good talk. I could have just done that from the get-go. And probably in the most unexpected play that actually meets the threshold of better than 2.5% expected value for me. And that falls into the light category, friends. Keller. And what, again, if you have a massive bankroll, you can fire up everything with like 0.1% expected EV and things of that nature too. Again, OddsSharper can definitely help you with those kind of things. But in this spot, Mitch Keller, terrible, 48% hard hit. We knew negative regression was coming after his awesome start to last season. 4.92 expected ERA. It's pretty jarring to see though. And you've got an Oakland team that against righties, they've been pretty okay. 85 WRC plus sounds terrible, but like, I don't know, they're going to strike out a lot, 28% K rate, but like, I expected them to be bottom rung, like the worst team. They're actually 7th in baseball. They're higher than Chicago, the White Sox, that is, not Cubs, Colorado, Miami, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. Arizona have been pretty lackluster against righties, absolutely demolishing lefties, and that's why we backed that over against Paxton on Monday. We'll see how that's going. But as I look at the board for tomorrow, friends, I like the over of a key number at 8 here, mainly because it's Keller and it's Alex Wood, who's just terrible. Southpaw that I don't find to be all that appealing in any way, shape, or form. And you look through some of Pittsburgh's numbers here, I just feel pretty confident saying that they're going to be better than an 83 WRC plus with some of those righties that they bring to the table. It's not very good. Brian Hayes, Andrew McCutchen, Michael A. Taylor having to play baseball there. That's never good. Ryan Reynolds is a professional hitter on both sides. But anyway, I like the over of 8 here just purely because it's a key number. Hate the ballpark, obviously, like everybody else, but this is an advantageous one considering the quality of these pitchers. By quality, I mean boo. That's the end of the program. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know what you thought of me breaking down 16 games, just around 2 minutes per game there when it's all said and done. Tried to do the best I could to give you great information, also fast information. I know a lot of you want to just get the picks and move on with your day. I totally understand, but at the same time, want to explain to the people who want to learn how to go about betting and, you know, kind of what I'm looking at, what key metrics I'm paying attention to. And then obviously utilizing the market-based approach over at OddsSharper, which you can sign up for down below. That also gives you access to me in the Discord. So good stuff. Producer Jacob, thank you so much. Your Celtics handled business, did they not? Woo, easy W. Anyway, NBA Lindy's also on tap for Tuesday, so check that out. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Tuesday.